Welcome back everyone to part 2 of the Speedbird 301 service from Bahrain to London Heathrow in the FSL Concorde. Today we're going to take a look at the descent and landing into London Heathrow, and we're going to look at how the descent planning is done and also how the virtual flight engineer works in this regards. So hope you guys enjoy, and yeah, let's carry on. Okay, this is our nav log. As you can see, the flight engineer has been doing his job. I think the first officer, the flight engineer, does the filling up. We are today estimating to start our deceleration somewhere at waypoint Bravo. Currently, we are actually heading towards waypoint Echo. That's waypoint 4 in the INS, as you can see. Apologies, that will be actually, we are waypoint number 8. We can open up the HP, proceed to the performance calculations, select landing and discretion decel and descent, and we're going to refresh. You can see that we're going to start our deceleration 23 nautical miles before waypoint Bravo, and we need to be Mach 1 not later than 50 miles to the Victor India Charlie VOR. These are the restrictions. The virtual flight engineer has now captured this data, and he will start counting down as the closer we get to our deceleration point. So we have a 10-minute warning, a 2-minute warning, a 10-mile warning, and a 5-mile warning. We are very close to our deceleration point. We're just waiting for the flight engineer to make his 2-minute warning and start the decel checklist. As you can see, we're heading towards waypoint Bravo right now. Very close to descent.
2 minutes to decel.
That's our deceleration checklist. We have one item to do.
Top of descent checks, please.
Warning and landing displays.
Checked.
ASI bugs used are 167. Is a basic.
167. 210. 189.
Altimeter bugs.
Checked.
I've rolled down the altitude down all the way to flight level 410. Since we have a subsonic leg, we have to do this slightly tweaked deceleration procedure, and I'll show you down later in the video on how that's done. So initially we just select 410. The idea is that once the engineer says deceleration, or just before that, about 5 miles, we'll disconnect the auto throttle, engage alt hold. There we go. And once we reach deceleration, the engineer will pull back the throttle.
Leg 2 to 3 checks.
After which, we will aim for 360 knots. We hit alt acquire, and at 350 knots, we'll hit IS hold. And with that, we'll ride the aircraft all the way down to flight level 410.
10 miles. Five miles. 4. 3. 2. 1. Decel.
Throttles back to 18 degrees, please.
Throttling now.
So the reason why we don't, the engineers don't pull the throttle all the way back to idle is that at this speed and altitude, if you were to pull the engines all the way back to idle, the engines will start surging. We are slowly approaching 360 knots indicated. And as mentioned previously, at 360 knots indicated, we'll hit altitude acquire. We'll put the aircraft in about 800 feet per minute descent. And then at 350 knots, we're going to hit IAS hold.
Coming up on Mach 1.5, we'll take the second stage of throttling now.
Coming back to 32 degrees.
There's a special set of procedures for when there is a subsonic leg after your deceleration from Mach 2.0. So as we are approaching flight level 410, once the vertical speed indicator is less than 1000 feet per minute, we'll dial down the altitude to the lowest flight level that we're cleared to. In this case, we're going to dial down to flight level 360. And once we are below Mach 1, the flight engineer will put the engines up to 86% for about a minute or so before we can reduce the throttles back to idle and descend to flight level 360.
Mach 1.
Mach 1 check.
86%, please.
86% is coming up. Transparency de-ice and demist.
They're all on.
The decel descent checklist is complete. The fuel is still moving forward.
Through 40 for 360 with a prime 1013 is set, and I've got 55.2.
The fuel is still moving forward.
As I promised, I'm going to show you how to do a DME update. We're going to use the VOR 116.60 to update our DME. Sorry, correction, to update and align our INS per se. first of all, go to waypoint select. I'm going to right click 3 and 9 to bring up the list of VORs that are stored in the INS. You can scroll through the waypoints and we're going to see which waypoint corresponds to 116.60. That's the waypoint. And then what we're going to do is click waypoint change. But before that, make sure that the distance is properly it properly matches. Yes, it does. We're going to click waypoint change and we're going to select waypoint 2, insert, because that's where the VOR is assigned to in the DME updating card. Once you see this yellow light, it tells us that we are successfully aligning. We're using the validated VOR to update the position of the INS. Let's take a look at our arrival into London Heathrow. We're taking the Alezo 1 Hotel arrival. We need to be at flight level 70 by Biggin. That will be our aim point basically. Using the HP pump top, we can calculate exactly when we need to start descending to achieve flight level 70 by Biggin. So we're going to click new descent. I'm going to enter our current flight level. We're going to enter our target flight level, which is level 70. And looking at the gauge, just going to enter our ESA temperature. And I'm just going to leave the wing component as it is. And as we can see, we need about 61 nautical miles to descend to flight level 70 from flight level 360. That'll take about 9 minutes and 30 seconds. What we can do is to figure out exactly where this is by using the nav log. And we're going to take a look. So we're just going to count 61 nautical miles from Biggin upwards. We're going to descend somewhere along waypoint 7, which is Alezo. That should roughly get us down to flight level 70 by Biggin. And after that, we're just going to continue on the present heading of the Biggin and intercept the ILS 27 left approach. That will be our landing runway today, and that will also keep the taxi short, basically back to stand 410. We're now going to calculate the landing speeds for the arrival into London. We're going to go to landing and we're going to enter our landing weight. This can be calculated by using our zero fuel weight plus the estimations for how much fuel we will have when we arrive into London Heathrow. For today, this is what we have calculated. We have a VREF of 155 knots. We're going to dial 155 into the auto throttle box on approach. And then once we are 800 feet, we're going to click IS acquire. So basically on the ILS itself, we'll be maintaining 190 knots. And then we'll dial it down to 155 at 800 feet. The virtual first officer will call out 800 feet. So we're going to buck these instruments, and this is going to be our landing speeds for today.
Right leg 7 to 8 checks out. Leg 8 to 9 is checked now.
Your seats and fasten your seatbelt. At this time, the washroom facilities will not be available.
Approach checklist, landing briefing update.
No updates at the moment.
Understood. Taxi turn lights.
Yep, they're on.
Rad INS switches.
Radio.
Engine rating going to take off. Approach coming on now. Fuel weight CG checks. No updates on the bugs. Seats and harness.
Mine's locked. Power off secure.
Below 250 knots, we'll
Visors
put the
coming
nose to
down.
5 degrees. And as you can see, the weather is a bit stormy at the moment. No pun intended.
Nose 5.
It's overcast over Heathrow, so it's gonna be an interesting landing.
The approach checklist is complete.
For lock capture. Localizers active. Nose down. Glide capture.
Landing checklist.
Four greens.
Checks 4 greens. Nose. Down in green, brakes.
Check normal.
Landing checklist is complete. Feet radio.
5 greens. Go around altitude is set.
Feet.
Finally breaking through the clouds, runway in sight.
500 feet. Feet. 300 feet.
height, land 2. 100 above. Flight directors off.
200 feet.
Decide.
100 feet. 50. 40. 30. 20. 15.
Knots. 75 knots. 50. 40. 20 knots.
Could have been a much better landing. That was off center line, a bit far down the runway, floaty. Yeah, not so good.
Nose up to 5.
After landing checks, master warning.
Inhibited.
Nose is up to 5. Flight control inverters.
Off invert.
2 and 3 going. After landing checks complete, I've called for the doors.
Nose coming up. Visors coming up.
Parking checklist, brakes, set to park, lights, transparencies.
They're all off now.
Visor nose is up and locked, shutting down number 1 engine.
Ground to flight deck.
Go ahead.
Okay, they've just plugged the power in and you have chocks in below.
Thank you.
thank you guys for watching. Honestly, I had a blast flying the Concorde. It's a really awesome aircraft. It is my favorite aircraft in real life, and it's so awesome to finally have one for a 64-bit platform. I've been waiting for this for the longest time. So if you guys have made it all the way to this point of the video, honestly, thank you so much. Really appreciate the support. To give feedback on how can I do these videos better, how can I improve my landings, my handling of the Concorde, that would be much appreciated. I have several other video ideas coming up in the future. We'll see how that pans out, but for now, thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you guys in another video. Bye bye.